Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SMG invitationals. This will be a kind of new match thing because we don't know either of the players. We have cwlely scouting into the east, and then we have hypernovea scouting to the north and to the south, and of course joined again by the wonderful Zoltar.
I'm still here.
Yay! Alright, so, we don't know much about these players. Hypernovea, people almost kinda know him. He started his own forums. If you want to go check that out, sorry, at offworldnation.com. Yeah, that's basically it. And actually starting as a scavenger in the 1v1 is really strong, as you can see nowadays. Like the top two colonies in 1v1 are actually scavengers and scientific. So with this start, what do you think?
Well, I think that hypernovea, I might just call him Hyper for the duration of this.
Oh yeah.
He got a little aggressive in his found, I think. He got a little scared. Maybe not. He didn't wait to see the map, realistically. He kind of got nervous. He saw a decent plot of aluminum. He saw, like, some carbon that could be useful, and then he just went with it. And so, yeah, he's pulling in 3 carbon a second right now, 2 aluminum a second. It's good enough for level 1, but is it going to sustain him through the game? I honestly don't know. Whereas CW over here, he, on the other hand, waited. He was patient. And he found a potentially great spot for scientific. He's right next to a couple geotherms. He's got a decent steel triangle he can get down when he wants to. He's got an aluminum tile secured. And I think he's going to be in a much better spot as long as he doesn't kill himself shipping resources from these water plots that are quite some ways away.
Well, it's less than a screen away. So and for 1v1, I still think that's quite plausible. Like that's still okay, I think.
I agree. So I think CW is off to a much stronger start here. And is he seriously? He's just got this geotherm for 1,000.
What?
That's basically just a free extra claim right there. Free extra claim on that geotherm. I would take that any day of the week.
What just happened?
That's a great start for CW. He's also, by the way, by being patient with his claim, he's now sitting on an extra claim at level 2. So he's got 4 claims to dump out onto the map, which I think he should do fairly quickly, just to secure the high value tiles. But
yeah,
it looks like he's being a little bit slow about it.
Yeah, so he's actually sending away a farm onto the left, and I think he's kind of waiting on like a couple more seconds how the prices are going to evolve, because like starting about now, you kind of know if you want to go into reactors or go into food, because if you look at Hyper. There are how many blimps are flying? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Like, a lot. He's got
See,
Hyper has five tiles significantly away from his base.
So
sending resources fairly quickly. So yeah.
So Lely right now, getting that second farm up, and actually going to go into 2 reactors. Splitting up the claims, of course. Also, what I'd like to see, the next building he should get is probably the geothermal at this case, and in this case, and for Hyper, for Hyper, I mean, like, fuel is going to be a big thing for him this game.
I want to take a second and talk about this reactor and talk about why it is as awful as it actually is. Because first of all, we scroll over it and we see it's losing $15, right? A lot of that is just because water's actually kind of expensive still. And so he's spending a lot of water. Water's pretty pricey, and that's pretty bad. Some of it is power, but power's not even that bad yet. So he's mostly actually just losing money here. And on top of that, what's hidden from us in this view is this idea that Hyper is consuming so much fuel, he is not actually making any fuel out of this because it is all actively being taken away from him and put into his blimps. So the only thing he's gotten off this reactor so far is the 11 oxygen he's sitting on. 10 oxygen now. Very small amount of money coming from that building, and it's mostly just sitting there burning resources.
So actually, carbon surplus coming in, that is painful. Because Hyper, sometimes a scavenger needs to rely on the carbon, the carbon price. That, like, if you need, like, let's say, I don't know, like 1,000 more in glass to upgrade. You know, sometimes people just rely on that carbon price as a scavenger. And now with the surplus, it will probably plummet to like $5 or maybe $1. So,
Slant drilling. What?
wow. Uh, yeah, slant drilling right now. I think Lely doesn't really need it because he has the water tiles still left. But I think Hyper would benefit a lot more from this. And they're both
Yeah.
contesting it.
This is kind of super valuable. 20,000, I think, is maybe a reasonable price to let it go
Yeah, definitely.
for CW for sure. He doesn't need it. You're absolutely right that he has these big plots of water, right? He has this plot of steel and iron that he can use. He has this plot of aluminum that he can use already. He doesn't absolutely need the adjacency bonuses, whereas Hyper, this allows his kind of questionable carbon start to maybe work out a bit better. He can even take more benefit off the medium water tile he's claimed. All kinds of important details open up for him now that he's gotten slant drilling. I also love Hyper went ahead and used the carbon surplus appropriately. He sold out of carbon when he needed to, and then on the low side, he went ahead and bought into it. And as long as he has enough glass production that he can get to another upgrade based on this, he can potentially hit level 4 very, very quickly, despite never putting down a whole lot of carbon production. And that's just based on the surplus that came through, actually potentially taking an advantage rather than having it hurt him too badly.
Yep. So right now, Hyper actually floating away 2 reactors to his water. Any thoughts on that? Because like he has this single lonely reactor that he will actually probably scratch for glass. What? No, he's already getting glass. So what do you really think about this play? Since he has 2 reactors at his water, and then he's like 1 reactor to the north of his actual base ejected.
I'm very concerned about that. First of all, water is still crazy expensive, right? Water's up at $60. It keeps getting consumed. It's absolutely ridiculous. So reactors in and of themselves, potentially a poor decision based on that. Reactors not next to your other reactor, that's horrifying in a lot of ways. It's just like you could be making, right now, basically 6 reactors worth of fuel and oxygen, right? If you had all your adjacency bonuses and they were in a triangle. Right now, he's only making 4 reactors worth of fuel and oxygen based on the same number of tiles. So he's at only 2/3 of the actual expected production based on those tiles, and the production itself is not particularly strong. So he's just losing all kinds of potential money in that particular play.
Yep. And also, 2 things. Like, as Hyper actually, excuse me, founded, he took the water away, the 2 stack of water in the middle of the map, because that was the biggest water cluster. And he didn't really, I think he didn't really scout out the rest of the map, I believe, because he kind of took it away. And Lely just said, no, like, I don't really need it because I have these 2 clusters to actually the left of the map, in the top left. Yeah. And now Lely's just playing around to Hyper, and Hyper actually, I think he just had this game plan of let's take away the big water cluster. But then Lely actually took the best water on the map, the 2 tiles for 5.25 water.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge amount of water based off of just 2 tiles, and water's worth so much money. We see this water pump actually pulling in $200 a second on its own.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous amounts of money at this stage of the game, as opposed to even, okay, hypernovea, once he's got these adjacency bonuses, will be getting a significant amount of money from his water pumps as well.
But it's
especially due to slant drilling. And that's the big deal right now.
That is true.
How much is slant drilling going to help out? We really probably need to see a nuke on this water pump. I'm sorry, on the 2-stack water pump right now of hypernoveas would be quite effective at reducing his water income. Because suddenly everything is pulling from just 1 low tile instead of from 1 medium tile.
And also the Pirates going for 16,000 for Hyper. Hyper is going to actually... the lanes are, what is it? The reactors, so fuel and oxygen, food and water. So the Pirates will actually make money if you think about it, because he's getting a lot of water. He already got fuel, so it's actually stuff to save up.
Yeah,
and also
Pirates were insanely valuable there.
Yeah,
for sure.
And also Lely sending out a 3rd reactor, also getting some glass. I want to. Oh, actually, going to get the third glass. That triangle though, and I mean, I don't know. The water price right now, like it just was so high a minute ago, but now with these two guys actually producing a lot of water, and both of
It will
them are,
drop very quickly.
yeah, it will. First of all, yeah, it will drop really quickly, and it actually uses a lot of power if you think about it. Because
Yeah.
if it will drop like to $10 now, and the price of power at 200, don't you not think that will be, you're going to be paying too much power to actually make some profit in water?
It is going to start being a bit of an issue. Thankfully for both players, they do have ways to work around it. This idea of hypernova has already sent his reactors out next to his water, which was a questionable play at the time, and certainly not really what he wanted to be looking for. But thankfully, one thing that he can very easily do is transition one of his water pumps into a reactor and have a nice triangle up there with a couple water pumps feeding it, and just send the resources on across to his base. He can convert this lone reactor into something like a hacker array, an engineering lab, a patent lab, make good use off of it. So even though he's maybe in a bit of an awkward circumstance with water, he can make use of the tiles. Now, what my big concern is Hyper's 130,000 in debt.
Yeah, Hyper didn't really go into power at all, like at
At
all.
all.
He
At
just
all.
went into power like 2 minutes ago, but he already
Yep.
accumulated over 100,000 debt. So that, like, it's kind of irritating because
Guys,
it's there, and it's like a one versus one, right? I mean, sure, observing is easier than playing, for sure, like no doubt in that. But also, like you need to see, like the only opponent you have is Lely, is one guy.
one guy.
So you don't really need to look at like six different people. So I don't know. I think that was kind of misplay. For sure.
Another interesting thing that's happened, by the way, is Hypernova, I believe after he acquired Slant Drilling, took the high carbon tile
Yes.
all the way on the west side of the map and never claimed any adjacent tiles, never really got any benefit off Slant Drilling when it came to his carbon. On top of that, by the way, while we were doing the whole discussion of power, guess what came up for auction? A geotherm, and neither player wanted it. I can understand CW avoiding it. It is literally on the opposite end of the map, but Hyper, I think, really probably should have taken that for the 1,000 it was at least worth.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, Lely right now, actually getting this is kind of interesting. Mutinying the one the one geothermal back from Hyper because Hyper trying to make those plays with the mutiny, but nope. Lely just said, "I have enough money. I'm just going to take it back." The power price is actually still rising after this. After having how many geothermals are taken? One wind turbine and 3 geothermals.
Yeah, one wind turbine, 3 geothermals all in operation, still not enough power.
Yeah.
Because frankly, CW isn't selling off all that much, just under one geothermal plant. So he's only making about $500 a second on power, and Hyper is still leaking it, and here comes CW. He's just about got the cash. This shortage might push him on through to finishing up the game.
Wow. I mean, the power plays right now, like I don't really think it was intentional. I think it just like
No.
it happened. It just fell into, Lely's lap.
And he's not making much money off of it, but it's keeping his stock price afloat quite nicely. And Hyper, he doesn't really have a good way to combat it. Yup. There goes CW. He's going ahead. He's taking away that last geotherm that Hyper's got down.
Yeah.
And we should be able to watch his stock price just plummet until CW's got the buy.
Yeah, like CW actually making 1,000, a steady 1,010 on power, and the price still going up. That's
Hyper actually, I think, paid off as much debt as he possibly could manage.
wow.
There's the red
GG.
button, though.
Yeah. GG CW Lely. If you ask me, that's kind of insane though. Like,
Well,
like the thing is, what I always say, power creeps up. Like you
Mhm.
never can tell if power is going to be worth a lot in 2 minutes or just plummet. Just, as I say, power just creeps up, and you never know how it goes.
yeah, Power definitely. Power did it that game. I mean, honestly, like both players, they were playing. Maybe CW was a little bit ahead when it came to just playing the general map, getting a nice feel for it and everything. but neither of them made a super strong move like, oh man, that's great. I can't believe he did that. That's going to give him such a huge advantage, right? Both of them were basically just hanging on. Hyper skipped power and CW didn't, and so when Piper was 100 and Hyper was 130 in debt, CW just killed him, and that was it, you know? It was a very interesting little game just because it was so standard, but it just goes to show what happens if you totally ignore your debt and your power situation.
Yeah. Like as you can see for CW, he actually made profit on power, the 37,000, and
Hmm.
Hyper actually lost money. He lost 73,000. That's that's quite a bit of money. Like it wasn't that long of a
Yeah.
game, but the power price just shot up so quickly.
I mean, CW just held on to as much power as he needed, basically to run his own buildings, and Hyper just never made any. So the
Yeah.
price was just stagnant and
So
continually rising, quite frankly.
so right now for CW, which we didn't really acknowledge much, is he sold a lot of water. He sold 80,000 in food, 20,000 fuel, 14,000 aluminum. I'm not going to mention steel because he actually almost bought.
I do want to talk about steel because, man, the guy was only running on 2 steel mills the whole time, right? The equivalent of 3 steel mills of production when you count in adjacency bonuses. He drops one more steel mill, doubles his steel production. Steel was up a good $150 at times that game. He could have made a lot of money in it, and it was a bit of a lost opportunity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like buying 48,000 steel and selling 49,000 steel. That's normally rare to see most of the times.
Yeah.
And then glass, of course, made some money on glass. All over, I'm gonna say actually a really what could you call it? A really good game, odd, kind of
It
odd
was a
game also.
solid game out of CW, I
Yes, a
think.
solid
You
game.
know, there
Thank you.
wasn't anything crazy, there wasn't anything special about it in a lot of ways, but that doesn't mean it wasn't well played overall, and I think it was.
Solid. That was the word I was looking for. But yeah, like
Hmm.
overall solid. Like we didn't see too many mistakes actually. Like aside from that one steel mill, I don't really see anything
Yeah,
too
very,
bad.
very minor things here and there, but generally rather well played.
Yep, and
Very
then
rather well played.
to Hyper actually, he didn't sell any. He didn't have food at all. He actually spent 34,000 food, but then selling 23,000 water, 12,000 fuel, uh, glass 21,000. I don't really. Not that how could you say?
He just,
Not
well, look, he just didn't make any money. He wasn't being
yeah.
efficient. He was like, he bought water when it was high, he sold water when it was low. His reactors weren't together. His glass never got off the ground because you just need those adjacency bonuses. And Hyper, he was kind of all over the place, not really getting adjacency anywhere, and you could tell that it was hurting him quite badly.
Yep. I don't know. I don't really know what to say because I've never really seen this before. I mean, maybe he's a new player. I don't know much about him. Um, but yeah, never have quite seen that before. Definitely with the reactors that he had one reactor and then he just built two others at his water. I think he wanted to do that before, but then like changed his mind, stuff like that
Hmm.
in the middle of the
I think
game.
Hyper was very much, in a lot of ways, kind of maybe following a bit of a formula for what he likes to do in the game rather than reacting to the exact circumstances because the general idea behind his play made sense, right? It's like I want fuel because I know that reactors are good and I want glass because I need glass to upgrade. But maybe it was just some details here and there that got lost in this transition to 1v1 and he couldn't quite make it work in this particular format against this particular opponent.
Yep. So then after black market, Lely actually, uh, 4 items off the black market, 2 claims actually. Those are actually a lot of claims. And then 2 mutinies for 25,000. So
Yeah,
actually really got them cheap.
very reasonable use of the black market
And then
over by our
Hypernova.
scientific player.
Oh yeah, definitely from a scientific player overall. And then actually, Hypernova, getting 1 claim for 9,000, 1 mutiny for 4,000, adding up to 13,000.
Yeah, not a lot of
Um,
use of that scavenger bonus,
yeah,
realistically. Now, it is difficult to use against a scientific player in a lot of ways, but you don't have to be aggressive with the black market as a scavenger. If you can find a good way to make money, then you can go ahead and just actively purchase up those new claims quickly before, the price rises too high and block your opponent out from them. You can grab those goon squads and go ahead and defend your geotherms and things like that because, well, black market still works just fine against you. So maybe a little bit light on the use of the black market that game, but I think that just plays into the fact that he never really had the ability to make money based on where his buildings were being positioned.
yeah. It's hard to use the black market if a scientific player already makes more money than you.
Yeah,
So
and we do have to count in that carbon surplus. He made good use of it for what he could, but it also definitely blocked out some of his income,
yeah.
and that was a problem for him that game.
All right. So that was the game, Lely versus Hyper. Lely's actually proceeding to round two. That will be played tomorrow on Saturday, the 25th of April. So hope to see you guys there. I wish you guys a nice day. Zoltar, it was nice casting with you yet again.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Yep, and see you guys later. Peace. All right, awesome. How late is it? Ooh, that actually took 22 minutes. I think that is like the longest game overall that we had.
Yeah.
All right, so two things. By the way, hippity long ears. Thank you very much. And second of all, let me update the bracket real quick. AJ just sent me links to his ladder system. But by the way, do you know it yet? Have you seen it yet?
I've looked at it a little bit. I haven't really used it much, but
Yeah, no, he got done a couple of days ago. I think it's actually really well made. He actually put in a lot of time in it.
I'll have to take a much closer look at it.
I'm gonna be posting it in chat. So
Sounds
guys, if you want to go check out AJ Squared's ladder system, the first link is the registry, and the second link is basically what you need to put in your games, of course. And then there's another link that I will be posting last. Don't really have it now. Oh well. That basically shows up what rank you are on that ladder system. There it is. Really awesome. So go check that out for sure. First link, you need to register. Second link is basically what you need to put in. If you win, lost, which players got, what place, I believe. And then basically you can see the bracket of the ladder system. If you see like test 5, test 3, stuff like that, he was just testing that around, which is awesome. But yeah, thank you AJ Squared for putting so much time in that ladder system. Really awesome. All right. So guys, actually Sultar, I will let you go now.
Sounds good. Enjoy the rest of your tournament. I'll probably be watching it.
All right, thanks.
And let me know if you need me again.
Oh yeah, sure. By the way, thank you for the host still. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you
problem.
for letting your day of streaming go. Yeah,
Not a problem.
it's kind of a big deal. All right. See you later.
Later.
All right, guys. So we're gonna have We're gonna have the bloody Scottish cast. It's starting. Test using boggles my mind. Yeah, Jimmy, it is. It is. By the way, guys, if you don't know yet, I'm having a straw poll going on. Like, what do you think about the tournament? Yeah, Lely, GG, definitely, GG. Moving on to round 2, really nice. All right. So, anything else? Anything new? By the way, Don Jobneck, thank you very much for the follow to the channel. I don't have alerts up right now, because of the simple fact that I don't really want to get alert spammed, throughout the tournament. And also, Future Commerce, thank you very much also for the follow. And also, still a huge thank you to the worthless imp. Actually, bumping up the prize pool by quite a bit. So the first place prize is $20, and the second place prize is $5 for your guys' information. All right. So we're going to be going on to. All right. So who are we going on to? We're going to go to Game Slayer versus King Morgan. That will start in a bit, of course. Let me change my title. Alrighty. So the bloody Scot will cast. Oopsie daisies. Wrong chat. Alright guys, so let me create this game real quick. Alright, so we have. There we go. Hi, Mike!
Hey! I'm just gonna close the stream now, because,
Yeah.
how's it going?
Oh, whoa, where's King Morgan? Uh-oh. King Morgan, buddy! Oh, shoot. Where, oh, he just was here! No, he legitimately was just here, like...
He might be just checking his options menu.
No, he's actually offline.
Oh, alright. Ah, crap. The
Oh,
minute
no.
I show up, I'm just saying, I may have jinxed this whole thing.
Oh, why did he do this?
Apologies.
Yeah.
I recorded my game, and I'm actually pissed off at how badly I did some things in that game.
I'm so sorry. Nobody heard you because the alert went off. Because I'm on cam right now, not in game.
No worries.
Okay.
So
I'm
many
so
things I did
sorry.
wrong.
Ah, wrong one.